So I wanted to just finish up because I realized that I had started talking about combinations and then didn't really go into it all that much, which is cool, right? But I wanted to kind of clarify that up. So I had a drink of water, I brushed my teeth, I got myself a little deified up in here, and now I'm ready to roll. So, first and foremost, when doing alchemical expressions and utilizing them to manifest what you want, I don't recommend pairing them right off the bat. I recommend the first thing you do is work with one at a time. It's like putting your focus in different areas. Sometimes you can put them in two areas at once, but following a step-by-step procedure is really going to work best. And that also goes along with utilizing elements. So, depending on where you are in your process of manifestation, I would utilize these elements accordingly to those steps. So, for example, right, I want to have my own business. In order to get my creative thoughts going, I would first tap into air element, because air is going to give me ideas, right? Now, a note on your own astrology and on your own constitution. What I realized is that a large portion of my constitution is already air and fire. So I don't really want to emphasize too much on those, right? Because those are already active. So once I'm finished utilizing my own air element and focusing that in on ideas, and I get those ideas, I then look to my water element. My water element is going to help me with the discrimination method. What I think is actually going to work versus what is actually not really going to work. That kind of thing, it's gonna help me get creative on those ventures, and I can utilize it for a little bit longer of a time than with the air. Again, because my constitution is already air and fire, a lot of times where I put my focus, those are the elements that are going to come up as active. My air and water is going to be a pretty cool combination. So I'm going to utilize that for my planning process, okay? Then I'm going to leave them. And then the next step is going to be doing the groundwork, right? Doing the work. So what would I utilize to do the work? Well, I would utilize, and I've been utilizing, is the earth element, because that is where that work is going to be developing my stability. And so the best thing for me to stabilize is using earth. So depending on what your natural constitution is and what elements are already active is going to determine what you focus first and then what you utilize throughout your steps. I hope that makes sense. So let's take another example. Let's say I'm looking for a boyfriend. I'm like super hot and heavy and ready for him, right? I'm like, all right, come here, gorgeous. So what am I going to utilize? Well, like I said, naturally, I'm pretty darn fiery, and I got a lot of air. But I don't really need air for this one because it's giving me ideas. Like, ideas about what? Know what I'm saying? Like, I already know what I want. So instead, I'm going to utilize my fire a little bit more. All right, fire is going to create emotion. It's going to give me the gusto, right, of what I want in a mate. So it's going to help me kind of determine what I want, as well as create the emotion and the movement to, like, maybe go on a dating site or maybe be more social, that kind of thing, right? Like, yeah, okay. And then what I might do in one of my next phases, so I can stay within myself and continue growing within my own spirituality and connecting to that nature, is the ether. Ether is going to help me stay in contact with my higher self. I'm not using it for a material gain. I'm using it to connect to my higher self. That's the step that I'm going to be at. So I'm going to utilize ether for that. Nothing else, right? Ether is not going to help me manifest a boyfriend, No, it's just going to help me connect to myself as I go through the process, right? But fire is really going to help me put in that extra work and that extra energy. So I'm going to be channeling that for the most part. These are some quick examples as to how you can utilize the elements for your expressions. Like I said, pairing them, typically I would say do one at a time according to which step you're at. so then you can remain focused the whole time and utilize the full ability of that element in that step that you are taking. Okay? So I hope this helped, and I hope that you can tell me some of your results and what you've seen and all that kind of stuff. Super curious about it. And I'll see you in the next edition. Ciao.